One. And yo, what is up, everyone? This is OJ over here from PlayerEssence, and I have a special surprise podcast for you guys with someone that most of you guys probably don't know. You guys do not know this guy. I am joking. I've got the one and only SuperMetaldave here. SuperMetaldave, what is up, man?
What's up? Thanks for having me, buddy.
No problem, man. This was I'm so glad that you're able to do this podcast today because a lot of people have been asking me. If you're a Zero fan, I know a lot of people have been wondering when is OJ going to get back with SuperMetaldave to talk about it, because people really liked our last podcast that we did, and that was a while ago, you know. So
yeah, that was a while ago.
Yeah, so there was just some other things that we had to talk about. I mean, obviously Dave has his own channel, you know, I have my own stuff that I'm doing and everything, but we're finally able to get something going for you guys. So hopefully you guys like it. We have a variety of different topics here to discuss, from Pokemon Go to Nintendo supplemental computing devices. We have some main topics. We have some Metal Gear Solid news potentially coming to the NX, so definitely going to want to stick around for the full thing. But just before we get started, I want to say, Dave, do you have anything that you want to say as far as to my audience, as far as what you're doing on your channel? And we'll talk about that at the end too, but is there anything you want to talk about as far as what your channel does?
What my channel does? My channel is a Nintendo-focused channel. I'm a Nintendo fan, self-proclaimed, and obviously. And I talk a lot about, you know, speculation, Nintendo, what's going on with them as a company. Of course, Nintendo NX is my main focus because that's what Nintendo is doing as far as what they're releasing their next console for. So the Wii U is done. They're not focusing on the Wii U. Like, if they were, I would be talking about the Wii U. But there's nothing going on with Nintendo as far as their console, other than the NX and what is their future with them. So that's what I'm main focused on because I'm a Nintendo fan.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, and that's the thing. Like, when I started switching over to me being mainly Nintendo NX news, people got really upset with that, you know?
Why?
But people did. They were like, well, what are you doing? Like, your Nintendo with Wii U with NX isn't a thing. But I'm like, listen, you guys got to understand, like, NX is what Nintendo's doing next. Like, they're not bringing out more Wii U stuff. So we need to focus. Like, if you're a Nintendo fan, you need to really start focusing on what's next. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you're a news channel. If you're a news channel, like, Wii U's done. You got to move on to discussions. You got to move on to other things. But the one thing I really love about SuperMetaldave channel is that it's never rushed. It's never like, your thoughts are never like just scattered. You always have very concise and clear thoughts. So I know a lot of you guys are already subscribed to SuperMetaldave channel, but if you're not, check it out. Make sure you subscribe. It'll be in the description below. Check out the link there. It is definitely very good. It's a very good channel. I absolutely love it. I don't know why the hell it took me so long to subscribe to this dude's channel. I don't know why it took me so long. The videos were not showing up in my feed. When I subscribed, because I subscribed to you back when you had like 2,000 subscribers, I remember. And you're obviously much bigger than that now. So just wanted to say to everyone, make sure you subscribe to his channel first and foremost before we get into anything here.
Thank you.
No problem, dude. Your videos are amazing. Your videos get so many views too. It's not even like you destroy the whole YouTube, like the ratings and like what you're supposed to do. Usually they give you like a little, like, okay, it'll be good if like 20% of your people watch your videos or whatever. It's like different. It's like 120% of your people watch your videos. Like, sometimes 200%, 300%. I mean, you have insane ratios of consumer engagement. So that's why you need to subscribe to SuperMetaldave. One
thing I want to say about that is I think it's more about the interest and what Nintendo's doing. So people may search on YouTube for something with the NX, and I might have some information that I researched that becomes public knowledge. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I suggest all you guys out there watching, do your research. Like, seriously, it pays off. Like, translate interviews, you know, from different languages, German, French. Get all your eggs in a basket, and then do your research. And there's things you can find that people can't find, basically, because they're not looking for it. So that's kind of what I try to do, is I really try to research my information. And then when I post it, I do it in a way that I try to make it easy to understand for everybody so they could really get a clear picture. So I think that's kind of what you're seeing happening. I don't think, honestly, like, after the NX comes out, I'm going to get those type of views. You know, it'll probably be more like you're saying, you know, like
I disagree.
But I'm just saying, it's just that I try to, but also for anybody doing YouTube, I suggest you just keep your quality level at a certain degree. Like, don't make one great video and then have a bunch of crap. You know what I mean? Like, keep your quality at a certain level. That's why when I do a video, I try to make sure I have all my information in the descriptions. I make sure I have, you know, some catchy background music going on, maybe some gameplay going on, just something to make it interesting, to make the information stand out. That's all.
Yeah, definitely. And that's the thing, especially like when you're trying to do YouTube. People have asked me, like, well, how do you get to the point to know what you're doing? And the thing about it is, like, I would say stay focused. Like, if like SuperMetaldave, his channel I also think you get a lot of views because your viewers know exactly what they're going there for. If you make a channel like mine where it's news, it's reactions, it's Sony, it's Microsoft, you're going to have lower view counts just in general because you're going to get subs from different places. But those people aren't always going to want to watch everything you do because a lot of people, believe it or not, subscribe to me for my reaction videos because I used to do reaction videos. And those are actually my most popular videos on my channel are ones where I react to things, believe it or not, whether it's stuff like that. But those people only come for that content, you know? So that's something, if you want to have the type of view counts also, is also focusing your channel. But it's really up to you how you want to do things. But like Dave said, do your research, make sure that you're consistent, make sure that you're not only doing like one video a week, make sure that at least you have a couple of different videos and they're very good. And yeah, background music. I think background music and the type of games that you play, I think that's also, or games that you put there are also very cool. So people want to see a nice variety. People want to see some cool stuff. And I always love Dave's videos because you have Tomb Raider going and that game just looks so good. That game just looks so good. So
that's great. It's great on PC. I'll tell you that much.
Definitely.
But yeah, even my my friends, they're like, cool, you know, YouTube's kind of cool. We can watch you talk about something and then watch you play a game too. That's cool. Like they don't, like, you know, the people just new to YouTube, you know, they kind of just don't realize that is kind of a thing. You know, you put a gameplay video up to keep people's engagement in what they're watching, because you're watching a video, not just listening to somebody talk. So you want to put something there that they can watch too. That's kind of what I try to do. Yeah,
definitely. That's why I always like to go for like the old school games in mind, because I think people find them very interesting, especially some of the newer kids. Like they didn't play these games, you know. So that's why I always like to do the older games in my videos, whether it's like a Metal Gear or whether it's Super Mario Galaxy or stuff like that. Just kind of show that Nintendo, like, don't front with Nintendo's got games, plenty of games they used to have, whether it was third-party games back in the day, whether it's first-party games, they got stuff. So don't worry. I mean, it's also symbolic to me of what Nintendo's going to go through in the future, but that's just my opinion on the matter as far as what they're going to do. So anyway, yeah, let's go and get into some of these topics, Dave. So Pokemon Go, it's been pretty popular. There was a stampede at Central Park, and I think in, what was it, in New York or something like that, where there was a Vaporeon that showed up, a wild Vaporeon. And seriously, like at 11 o'clock at night, there was like 3,000.
Yeah.
And 3,000 people stampeded there with cops being called and everything. Over 21 million downloads. And that was of a couple days ago.
Yeah, I think it's like 25 now or something like that.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. So what is your opinion? Because I know you made a video on this, talk about how Nintendo's success isn't random. But what's your just extended thoughts on Pokemon Go's popularity and what Nintendo's doing in the mobile market?
Yeah, the reason why I didn't mention this in my video, but I did some more research just today, actually, because I was thinking about this. They invested, like, if you go on Google and type in Pokemon Go development cost, the first result is there. You can check it out, but it's over $30 million that this game cost to develop over the last over 2 years. That was not random. Nintendo put a large chunk of that money invested into that game years ago. And remember, they showed it, I think a year ago in 2015, right? They previewed that, or I think it was October 2015. Yeah. They previewed Pokemon Go. Mm-hmm. And my initial reaction was like, oh, you know, that looks cool. But because I was thinking, like, you know, Pokemon Shuffle, the puzzle game, you know, it wasn't really that successful. I was thinking, oh, just another Pokemon game. But I didn't realize that they invested so much money into that. It's not just another Pokemon game. So this was not a random occurrence where they just pushed out some, free-to-play app and hope it got big. They put a lot of effort into this game. And I have the game, of course. I've played it a little bit. And it's not really my thing, honestly. Yeah. You know, I think it's a good game, quote unquote, for what it does. And using the GPS is awesome, and the camera interaction with AR and everything. But for the casual gamer, it's fantastic. It's an amazing experience for the casual market. So the amount of money they put into there, this game was planned. Like they knew somehow this was going to be the next big thing, and it is.
Did you think that they knew it was going to be this big? Like top grossing app. So there's some new numbers that have come in. Top grossing app in pretty much all of Europe. Okay, so because it launched in UK, launched in Germany, all that. It launched in many different countries. Did you think that they knew that it was going to be to the point to where it was like this though? Because if you look at it, this has probably been the most successful thing Nintendo's done since like the Wii, right? As far as just mind share.
Yeah.
And casual consumers.
I think it's more so actually than the Wii, because the entire world is on this game. News stories absolutely everywhere popping out. The Wii was like that a bit, but it was a little bit different. This is crazy. Like this is insane.
The reason why I asked this because I'm not sure if Nintendo even knew if it was going to be this big. I think they thought that it was going to be good, but they did have a little bit of a basis to look at, like the Ingress game. That game came out first. So
my opinion is that I think they knew it was going to be big, but maybe not world-changing big.
Okay,
you know what I mean? Like because games like Clash of the Clans and Candy Crush, they were the biggest games on the apps, right? But it wasn't world changing like this. So I think they were expecting that level as far as being number one, but not like interfere with your life changing stuff where people walking off cliffs, not you heard about that, right?
Yeah, I heard about that. And also there was a couple that broke into a zoo because there was like I don't know what type of Pokemon there was, but there was a really good Pokemon in the zoo, and it was nighttime, and they're like, we got to get that Pokemon. So they hopped the fence to the zoo.
Yeah, I don't get it. I mean, it's totally insane. It's not my particular kind of thing. I like sitting and relaxing on my couch and playing my game with my legs up. And I don't really particularly personally. I mean, I work out, but I dedicate my time just for that. I don't go walking around looking for Pokemon.
Yeah,
so, that's just me, though.
Yeah, I mean, I also go to the gym as well. That's one of the some of the things that, in my opinion, keeps me sharp doing my videos and keeps me motivated is making sure that you get to the gym and exercise. In my opinion, I think it keeps my mind clear and everything.
Yeah.
And I don't want to, like, when I'm playing a game, I'm not thinking about working out. When I go to the gym, I work out. And I work out hard. So, but yeah, I agree. I'm in the same boat as you. I like. It's not my cup of tea. It doesn't even work for me. And
right.
I have a Galaxy S5, and the last time I think it doesn't work for me. But you know what? I'm happy. I am so happy.
Yeah, I got the S6 right here. But yeah, the thing is about that is what's funny is I downloaded the game at my work the other day, and my friend had the game themselves, and they said, "Let me show you the game." And I was like, "Okay, show me the game." And they couldn't get on the game. So I said, okay, let me try. So immediately I downloaded it, and it worked right away. So I think that they are pushing bandwidth for new users over people who possibly have already been playing it. However, like you said, you couldn't get on yourself. So I don't know. It seemed like it worked right away for me, though.
It worked. Like I downloaded the app, everything booted up. Like I got to the one point to where like the loading screen with the Gyarados on there, and it stopped working. And then I uninstalled, reinstalled, and then I got to the point to where I could have caught a Squirtle in my house. And then I threw the Pokeball and it stopped working. And then after, I'm like, okay, that's all the tolerance I have. Like, I'm not trying it again. Like, I'm going to wait till they release the update for Android, and then I'll try it out. I'll try it out later, So, but to me, I'm just happy of the success. I mean, that's money for Nintendo. That's money for a Pokemon company. Money for, is it Niantic or Niantic? Which one is it? Is it Niantic?
Yeah, that's the company. Now they invested in that company too. Nintendo did. I mean, this was calculated. They own the IP 100%. Pokemon is 100% owned by Nintendo. So, say for example, guys, the Pokemon company and Niantic said that we hate you, Nintendo. We're gonna go make our own thing. They can't take the Pokemon name with them. So Nintendo would basically have to form another company to make those games or make them themselves. So if people think that Nintendo's not involved in this or in control, they absolutely are, and they're getting 30% of all the revenue. Of this game. There's an article that you can look up that breaks it down. It's not 10%; it's actually 30% because they get in the Google app. store and the Apple App Store, and also they own a share of Pokemon Company and of Niantic, and they're getting the game revenue.
They would get the equity, right? Since they own them. So I mean, yeah, there was some, of course, when Nintendo does something successful, there has to be someone that tries to come and say, oh, well, Nintendo's only making this amount, like that article's on N4G. They only make 10%, but then it was just like, okay,
it's 30%.
Yes, exactly. But then in the article they said that, oh well, they own 30% so they're going to get more. But that was the headline where Nintendo only makes 10. That was the headline of it. Nintendo only makes 10%.
Yeah, and I did some my math. I tweeted it out. The game, if it made only $2 million a day, it would be over $700 million a year. Nintendo would get about $200 million of that, give or take, straight up cash. So
I think that's worth their investment.
It's something, yeah. Now, again, dedicated game software that costs $59.99. Mario Kart 8 sold 7.5 million copies. They made a $500 million on that game alone on revenue. You count the DLC and everything. So they're not going anywhere with their software. They sell software so good. Mm-hmm. Now, if they can get their hardware up to that, that level, which I think they're going to be, working on with the NX. I think, their market share. Their stock has gone up by over $10 billion. So their net worth is over $30 billion now, and it's just insane. They're fine.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like that's the thing that I tell people that like the videos like I've been doing my little response videos that I did. The person said, "Oh, they need to make games on PS4, Xbox One." I'm like, no,
it's the opposite.
Yeah, I'm like, no, actually, they don't need the help. They don't need to enhance the value of their competitors. Like, in order to make some extra money, they can put games on smartphones and make extra money if they want extra money. They don't need to enhance the value of a PS4. The PS4 is already pretty, people already think it's a valuable commodity. People are buying it. Why would you enhance that value even more? Like
they'll be shooting themselves in the foot. Now, go back to the Wii U for a moment. Look at Splatoon, right? They pushed that game really hard with advertising. Splatoon sold 4.5 million copies on the Wii U. That was an insane amount for a brand new IP. Why? Because they pushed that game market-wise. They pushed that game harder than they did for the Wii U console itself. So it kind of shows a little bit. And Nintendo could probably see in 2013 after they released the Wii U that this system we're going to have to ride the system out. Basically, they didn't push the system as far as advertising was concerned. Mm-hmm. I know you made some videos saying no, it's not just marketing. It's all the things, of course. Everything's involved in that, but you could tell they didn't push the system like they could have. They have, for a multi-billion-dollar company, they could have had advertisements all over the place for the Wii U, and it still wouldn't have sold.
Yeah, I mean, and to me, like I said, there was more. It was more to it. I like to not. Like when I talk about stuff like if it's something like fails or not, I come from the football mentality. Like the football mentality is that you take responsibility for what you did. You don't blame stuff like marketing. You take responsibility for what the actual thing is,
Yeah. And
to me, the issue was the Wii U.
Yeah.
The issue. And that's why I put more blame on that than anything, because people said, I know what the Wii U is, but I don't like that.
Exactly.
I don't want that. So to me, I will blame that more than them trying to say, oh, well, we have this slapping their product everywhere if it's not a great product. I'm not saying the Wii is not a great product, but to me, Nintendo did not make a system up to what some people wanted, and that was the biggest problem to anything. Because that's fine if you don't reach the casual or you don't reach the casual people with marketing, that's fine. But you've got millions of hardcore gamers that are saying, I don't like this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're exactly right. It kind of connected together because that they saw right away that people didn't want it. So why should they go forth and go through the motions of putting like $1 billion in marketing for the Wii U if nobody's going to buy it anyway? Mm-hmm. That's my point of view. Like they didn't see like people wanted it because of what you said, and they didn't see the reason to put marketing behind it because of what you said. So it's like it all kind of connected. Why would you force so much money into something that's not going to sell anyway?
That that's not going to be your future.
Exactly.
And developers don't like. I mean, developers are complaining as well.
They complained in 2012, 6 months before the system was out, that it's like this is it's their okay.
Their own developers. I mean, the guy from Sengoku, the Basara, what is it, or the Dynasty Warriors game that came out, Hyper Orochi Warriors. Yeah. He was complaining about the CPU before his game even came out.
And so was the Tekken Tag Tournament 2. That
Yeah,
guy, he
10,
was
yeah,
like, the CPU is kind of GPU good though.
Great, but the CPU,
Yeah, but it's one of those things that they misread the market basically.
Yeah,
and then they're making up for it right now. They read the market 100% correct with Pokemon Go. I think they're on the right track. Continue to do that.
Definitely. So I did want to move into the next topic here. And speaking of being on the right track, there's been some new patents that came out, and I wanted to get your take on them as far as the Nintendo's supplemental computing devices. And I know you talked about this before with the one video you did about the XConnect technology. So was there anything you wanted to just basically talk about that as far as the new patents that have came out and people making videos and everything like that? What's all this whole supplemental computing device stuff?
Well, the thing is that the that patent was around since last year. It hasn't really changed that much. They altered a couple things because I think it was kind of in quote unquote infringing a little bit on other patents that were done by other companies. So they changed a few of the things on that patent, but they basically they purchased the rights to it because it got approved finally. And the patent includes lots of things about upgrading the consoles or a console, upgrading the system's graphics and processing capability, and having a bunch of networking capability in it. So my opinion on that is, while the NX I do believe will be competitive graphically as a console, I think in maybe 2 or 3 years down the line they could release something like this that could connect to the system from the outside, to make it so little Johnny can ask mommy to plug it in for him without having to open the system up, because the AMD XConnect technology, which is brand new, that came out, I think earlier this year, allows you to plug in basically like a USB style connector. I forgot what it was called. It's a special connector you can plug in and basically have SLI type or Crossfire type technology plugged into your device to increase the graphical power. So that's basically what I think this SCD is, as far as the upgrading the graphics are concerned. But the networking ability is really cool too. However, due to where we are in technology as far as the world is, as far as their own bandwidth in their home, I don't think we're quite there yet. So I think it's good that they patented that technology though, that they could use in the future, but possibly that networking stuff may come 4 or 5 years down the line, because I don't think we're all quite there yet, But it's awesome. It's an awesome idea.
But it's good that they're thinking ahead, in my opinion. I think if it does come to fruition that we see that's good, because they're planning ahead. That's the thing that the Wii U didn't do. The Wii U kind of planned for like literally almost right then and there. Not even that, it was still even a little bit behind in some cases. The online for sure was probably somewhere between an original Xbox and a PS3 maybe, were the online capabilities of a Wii U.
Yeah, barely.
Maybe
actually, I think it wasn't the original Xbox. Didn't it have voice chat where you could do almost like party chat, or is that kind of still in the?
No, the Xbox 360 really got that going. That particular feature to where you can just connect to anyone at any time. What Xbox Live did that was good was that Xbox had it to where any game as soon as you boot up, you connect right to them, like hands down. Like it's supported across the whole whole thing. I don't think you could do like peer-to-peer, like chat and party chat. That was something that Xbox 360. And I think even on Xbox 360, it took a little bit for that to be added. It wasn't at launch. Like I know when I bought my Xbox 360, I don't think that feature was available, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I was a GameCube guy. I never had an Xbox, so.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I had an Xbox. I definitely had an Xbox, and the online features of that system were definitely, in some regards, better than Wii U. This is the original. This is the original Xbox, guys. The original Xbox.
Yeah, we're going back 15 years here.
Yeah, that system had features that the Wii U does not have. Online-wise, so I mean, there's some things Wii U does a little bit better, but there's not. To be honest, there's not much. Oh man, that sounded really bad. Okay, so your idea on the supplemental computing device. Do you feel that Nintendo? So this is my little theory on this. So there is the rumor about cartridges, right? That's just we don't know for sure. Complete rumor. And then you have the supplemental computing device to where you hook in something. So that reminds me almost of a well thought out idea of remember 32X and Sega CD.
Yeah,
it kind of seems to me like Nintendo was taking some of the non-fleshed out ideas in the past, cartridges got really expensive, blah, blah, blah. But now it's different. Cartridges are the technology is much better. And then also with supplemental computing device, that's kind of like an add-on, but back then it wasn't done that well. Do you kind of see like Nintendo's kind of taking the ideas that were not fleshed out back then and applying them with way better technology at this point? Do you feel that maybe that's what they could be going for?
I think they're applying their own ideas in a better way. I don't think they're copying 32X, because 32X was marketed as almost like a brand new system. You know what I mean? And I remember those commercials where they were burning the Super Nintendo next to it because we got this 32X. Mm-hmm. I was like, dude, I'm on to you guys. This thing, seriously, there is no way I'm burning my Super Nintendo.
Yeah. Well, there was a DD in Japan too, which was also like an add-on, you know, like the disc drive. So do you think that maybe that they're just saying, hey, the technology is way better at this point? Like maybe we can have some of these ideas that we had and apply them to our new console. Is that a possibility?
Yeah, the expansion pack for the N64, I think that's an expansion of that idea. you know what I'm saying? Because it was so cool, the expansion pack. You just plugged it in, you didn't notice nothing. So I think they may have an idea similar to that with this SCD, where it would be non-noticeable, basically, because they could technically plug it into maybe the bottom of the system. You wouldn't notice it. It doesn't have to be a connector, like a long connector. It could basically just be like a port you just plug in, like PCI Express type thing. Any way they can connect it would be fine. It doesn't have to be that big. It could be, very low profile. Now, what's cool about AMD is that their Crossfire technology, when you combine it with X-Connect technology, is that they allow you to plug in any graphics card so you could have a graphics card that's 4 times as powerful. So like the difference between that and NVIDIA is that NVIDIA requires you to have the exact same graphics card to run an SLI. So you're limited to what you could do. So if I have a 960 Ti, I have to have a 960 Ti to have SLI. You see what I'm saying? So with Crossfire, though, you can have a AMD 470 and then plug in, their next generation graphics card a couple of years down the line and benefit from that power and not having to be limited by the same 470 just doubled. You see, so it's a great technology, and it didn't exist when PS4 came out. So I think Nintendo is really making some good decisions, both for casuals and for the core gamer.
And it kind of tells me like that could be the area that they're going in, because Tatsumi Kimishima said we want people to play this for a long time. Well, how are you going to have people play this for a long time? What are you going to do to make sure people play this for a long time? Because you need to have something that helps extend the life. There has to be something that they have to do, some type of thing, So that could definitely be it.
Yeah, exactly. Now, there were reports back in, was it 2015? I think Eurogamer did I think 2 articles. I think they did on Nintendo approaching third parties back in 2013 and 2014. Okay. Now, I don't know if you remember those articles or not, but they were.
I do.
Yeah. After the Wii U came out of the gate and fell flat in its face, they were reported of them approaching third parties and asking them what they wanted. Okay. So when we flash forward to today, 2016, and you're hearing these rumors of or not rumors, but people assuming that Nintendo is going to go the Wii route and make an underpowered system, have ARM architecture, and have it be a hybrid of some point. Where does that, how does that connect to them approaching third parties? Because third parties, what do you think they're going to say? What's your opinion of what third parties told Nintendo that they wanted? I want to hear.
Make a PS4, but a little bit better.
Yeah, exactly. Because the Wii U came out and the PS4 came out a year later, and then Nintendo goes to them and says, "Okay, guys, yeah, we can see you're having some issues here, and it's not selling. What do you want, third party developer?" And what was on the market in 2013, 2014? Xbox One was x86, PS4 x86, PC x86. What do you want from us, third party? So what they said was probably said, hey, we want to have our games to be on all the systems. Your Wii U is not letting us do that very easily, and it's not selling. So we want to have graphics, we want to have architecture, we want to have the online. Give it to us, right? So Nintendo was like, okay, we hear you. We're going to work on it. This is my assumption, of course, because what was said recently at E3 by Scott Moffitt and other people is that they want to have a system that third parties can put their games on. A system that's relying on tablet power, to plug into your TV, and it's all Frankenstein-y and it has an ARM-based CPU. seriously, guys, there is no way a third-party console developer, I'm not talking about mobile, console developer is going to want to put their games on a system like that. It's unproven. So they're going to be like, yeah, you're going to have to prove it to us, Nintendo. And now we're hearing all these developers coming out and saying like they're excited for the NX. Like we're really excited for it. Well, why are you excited? Why is Take-Two excited for it? You know, why are we getting hints that CD Projekt Red's excited for it? Why are we seeing guys like Dennis Dyack excited for it? He didn't want anything on the Wii U, or I mean the Wii. The focus wasn't for the core gamer. So if he's excited for it, that tells you something. You know, that they are refocusing their energies back to the core gamer, and to do that, third parties need to have a system they can put their games on. Breath of the Wild is an open world game. Nintendo's not going to limit themselves anymore. You know, they want to branch out and make games that are that don't have their limits. You know, like you could tell that's where they're going. You play that game at E3, it's like, yeah, and they're not going to they're not making some Android, app-based little game for the casual market with Zelda on there. No,
what are you talking about, dude? What they should totally do is make the NX an app on the PS4 for people to just experience those.
That was a great video, by the way. Yeah.
I mean, that would totally make them so much money. I mean, if they did that, right? Like,
yeah. Who was that guy? I mean, he was like, he was like, he was looking at the camera and he was like, I know you guys hate me for this, but what they should do, right? Because they want to support, because we want to play Pokemon on all our systems, right? Not Nintendo.
Savage.
Get out of here. Yeah, he had that deer in the headlights look. He was like, oh.
I did not expect that out of you, Dave.
I know. Sorry, but I don't know the guy.
No, that was awesome. I mean, you're joking. Obviously, it's funny. I
don't even know what his name is.
I think it's.
But I'm sorry. He kind of deserved that. No offense. I'm just saying.
But, I mean, I think he's a good dude. First and foremost. I spoke with him in the comment section. He was actually really nice to people, despite them like completely destroying him in his own comment section. And he was
on his own video.
Yeah, on his own video. He was really nice. He was responding back to him. He talked to me about it. So yeah, I just think that, obviously when you're making videos, you want to have a nice opinion that's out there. That could be somewhat controversial, attract people to your, and to your platform. And that was his way of doing that. I just think that it was a little misguided, but I
think he. I knew what he was trying to say. I think he could have expressed it a little more clearly, and maybe, just anyway. Let's move on.
All right, yeah, let's go. We're gonna move on from that. I do want to talk about, since we talked about Nintendo and the NX and what we think about supplemental computing devices. There's a lot of great stuff in there. Your insight was very good, but I did want to talk a little bit more about like some of this information that's been coming out about the Nintendo NX. So I know you alluded to a little bit like joking around like Android, Apple devices or app and stuff like that. Like these, you said fake insiders kind of like that have been coming out anywhere. So what's your take on all this different information that's been coming out about the NX and stuff like that? And people saying that, they have some inside information,
Well, the reason why I think it's fake insiders is because, literally we're right on the precipice of having this thing revealed, right? So it's common sense for a lot of these people who want to get their time in the sun to start saying like, oh, the NX is going to have this tablet controller. It's going to have motion sensing all around you. It can beam you somewhere else, and it has all these special abilities, and it's basically going to be like a Wii U Part 2. They're just going to do it a lot better, and that kind of stuff. And it's just, they're so way out there with these quote unquote, inside information. It's just, I don't see it being possible, in my opinion. If it is true, it doesn't line up for what Nintendo themselves have said, in the public, for what they're trying to do. Because if they go for that convoluted, weird gamepad functionality again, it's gonna fail flat on its face, because it's going to make it the focus again of their platform, which would be their controller only, and make it the console be kind of an kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So that's why it's really hard to believe. Plus that some of those, that insider, quote unquote, was making the rounds with these other YouTubers too. They were like, I'm not talking about, just because they were lesser known doesn't mean they don't have inside information. That's not true. But they were going around to these lesser YouTube channels saying they got inside information, and then they made the statement in these rumors that NX would be revealed at Gamescom, which I.
So what do you think? What do you think about that?
Disagree. I disagree 100%.
Why do you disagree with that?
The reason why I disagree is because Nintendo would have to be really desperate and in a panic mode right now to get that NX out there in a rush to show people if they're going to show it at Gamescom, because Gamescom is a really small event. It's not like super national, and it's not something that a company like Nintendo would show their product. Why would they do it there and not E3? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, they said they weren't ready. So why do it there and rush it out there? Why not do their own presentation, get everything in ready that they need to show, and show it at that time? Why rush it out with all these other vendors there at this place in Germany? It doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah, and that's the thing with me that I kind of question. I'm like, I don't know about that, because there's a bunch of different vendors. Obviously, Nintendo, I think they have the Nintendo Direct format. They said that they are going to have a different format for Nintendo Directs. And based on there being literally no Nintendo Directs for the most part this year, I think there was one earlier in the year, and there's been nothing since then. There was no Nintendo Direct at E3. Maybe Nintendo Directs are only going to be for major news, which would be something like this, like major big announcements. And I think that you can have more of an impact than having the Nintendo Direct and you show off like 15 3DS games, a bunch of like smaller games and things like that. People would get pissed about stuff like that. Whereas like, people still remember that one Nintendo Direct they did in 2013 where they showed off Xenoblade, Fire Emblem Cross or Tokyo Mirage Sessions. But
January 2013?
Exactly. That's
understand. Yeah.
Everyone still remembers that one. And the other Nintendo Directs are somewhat hard. I mean, there's some other good ones, but that one always stands out in your mind. And
the E3, of course, of 2014 with Zelda.
Exactly. And, it seemed like one a year or pretty much at that point. And then they had like a bunch of little, like other little Nintendo Directs. Those didn't have the impact that I think necessarily benefited them. At times, sometimes it was good, sometimes it was bad. But I think maybe with their new format that they are only going to reveal big news when they know they have stuff. So it seems to me more likely for them to do their own event, like you said, instead of worrying about something at Gamescom,
since when has it's just what they revealed the GameCube to Japan at TG. Was it TG? No, Space World 2000 in the year 2000, right? That's when we saw that original Zelda demo. I think that's the last time they've done something like that where they revealed a console. I think it's been that long, right? I don't remember them doing that with the Wii. They had a little video presentation of the Wii like concept Revolution.
Everything was at E3 though, right?
Everything else was at E3. GameCube, the Wii U. Well, and then Wii U had its own presentation also in September 2012.
They showed off Call of Duty, Black Ops running. They showed off Nintendo Land. They showed off the Metroid Nintendo Land.
Why would they use Gamescom to show the NX or Gamescom? Why would they show it there when it's going to be a bunch of people that are there for other stuff? What I mean? They want to have all the spotlight for themselves. It doesn't make any sense at all to show it at Gamescom. I think people are wanting to believe that because they want to see the NX right now. I wish it was, gonna happen. I want to see it. So do you, right? But I just don't see it realistically happening.
I'm ready, man. I think I've done I've done like 400 NX videos. Like I think I've literally done that many or more. So yeah, definitely, I am totally ready to see the Nintendo NX. But just kind of moving on to a little bit of other things when it comes to Nintendo NX. And I know we don't know any specs at all. Okay, so that's just something that I want to be clear. We have no idea about the specs. All we can take is just what Nintendo has said to third-party developers as far as just some of the public things. But how do you feel that this system, realistically, just in your opinion, how do you feel it's going to stack up? Because there are still people who think, like you said, think that this is going to be some type of underpowered, gimmicky system. If you think like we do know like the leaked specs of like the Neo, right?
Yeah,
we've got the leaked specs for that. We've got the leaked specs, or not leaked, but Microsoft announced the specs, and it was also leaked about the Scorpio. I mean, could Nintendo possibly even compete with those type of specs for something teraflops and 6 respectively? Do you think the NX is even going to be close to that?
I think it could easily be close to the Neo. The reason why is because the Neo is not really is not really doing something that's crazy out of the realm of possibility. And as what those leak specs just showed, there was more information on the Neo that's a couple days ago. It's going to be faking 4K, by the way. I don't know if you saw that, but it's not going to have true 4K. For the majority of the games, it's going to be like this up rendering where they're doing like a checkerboard thing with the pixels.
That's all I heard was checkerboard, and I just kept on thinking like,
yeah. I can't explain the technical aspect of it very well, but basically it's checkerboard in the fact some of it's rendered, some of it's not, and it's blending it together to make it appear 4K. That's the layman's term in explaining it. So it's kind of like when you played Black Ops 2 on your Wii U or 360. It's not running at 1080p, but it's blended not upscale, but up rendered to 1080p, even though it was scaled down to like 720p or below in the actual graphics itself. So that's kind of what they're doing with the Neo, because to run 4K gaming at a solid 30 frames per second, you need like a Titan graphics card, and those things cost $600 or more, up to $1,000. So you need, or the brand new NVIDIA 1080 graphics card that they released. There is no way you're going to have 4K gaming on a console that's affordable. So, they're being kind of clever with that. Now, the reason why I have repeatedly said that the NX could be competitive specs-wise with the Neo is because the technology is here and it's cheap. Like AMD just released their graphics card for the AMD 470, the RX 470 is $150, and it's a 5 teraflops graphics card. I mean, that's ridiculous as far as the performance is concerned. There's no way Nintendo is not going to be like, no, we're not going to use that. We're going to use some, more expensive tablet, GPU.
But to play devil's advocate a little bit, because there are people that say, well, look at what Nintendo did with the Wii U. That's the thing that I get. I always try to tell people that's not the case. But was this type of cheaper graphics that you could have got for a better price, was that available for Nintendo back in 2008? Why didn't they do that with the Wii U?
No, that wasn't available. That's the point. That's what I'm getting at here. It wasn't where it is now. Like the PlayStation 4 was running on a Radeon 7870, something like that, something similar to that. And that was when it was released, that was a $300 graphics card back when it was first released, or more.
2011,
2012.
2012. Okay.
It came out at the end of 2012, and PS4 was released in 2013. So it's running that graphics card with some of the compute units disabled for heat purposes. So it was it was a really good graphics card for the time. They have kind of I'm not going to say weak, but they're going to have, they did have kind of a lower powered CPU to make up some of the cost for that graphics card. That was expensive for them back in 2012 to develop that and then put it in PS4 for 1.8 teraflops. Now, fast forward to now, I'm just putting it out there. The AMD 470 and RX 480, they're $200 and $150 each. That is a huge price difference from over $300. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So, and then you got, but not just the price difference, but you got the computing power is about 3 times, almost over 3 times more powerful than what the graphics card in PS4 uses back from then. And it's cheaper now too. So you combine all that together, it would be stupid for Nintendo not to use something like that is what I'm getting at. Because like we've been saying, they want to have a console that developers want to put their games on. And a lot of these games now are all open world games, including the one they're making themselves for the launch for the NX. Mm-hmm. What do you need for an open world game?
You need a powerful GPU, you need a powerful CPU, you need all that, right?
Yeah, you need something to run it, right? You can't be having things popping up, 2 feet in front of you every 5 seconds, right? And having the game run like 5 frames per second.
Mm-hmm. Like Mass Effect 1 on the Xbox 360.
Yeah.
At times.
Having it load the game in front of you while you take one step.
Elevator rides that were like 5 minutes long.
Yeah, exactly. So that's where, I mean, it's so logical when you think about it. And I hear it in the comment section, well, Nintendo's not logical. This is Nintendo we're talking about. Yeah, but I mean, come on. it gets to a point where the business aspect is affected, where you're not going to get the games if you don't do it. So they will go back to Nintendo 64. They discovered that they were having some cool stuff going on with Super Nintendo with the Super FX chip, with Star Fox. They were developing Star Fox 2. It got canceled. They were really into that 3D stuff, and they said, "Man, we like this 3D stuff. What can we do with Mario in 3D?" Ooh, and then they said, "Oh, okay. Well, we're going to have a more powerful system to run this game in full 3D." So what did they do? They made a more powerful system to do it. It was the most powerful system there was at the time, and it had some graphical capabilities that even PC graphics card didn't have at the time. The Voodoo and 3DFX graphics cards were just barely coming out at that time, and they were developing that in 1995 to release in 96. So it was cutting edge at the time, and because they had an idea of innovating Mario in the 3D landscape, so they made a powerful console to do that. So with the NX, they're innovating right now with Breath of the Wild, and they are no doubt limited a little bit with what the Wii U can do. You saw the game yourself. There's some graphical, things going on there that obviously they could improve upon, as far as draw distance and level of detail kind of decreasing just a little bit in front of you.
Grass detail in certain areas. And
if people think Nintendo just is not going to do it because they don't want to, they want to forward their own game development. They're not going to limit themselves to do that. So they have so many ideas they want to show. It makes perfect sense for them to have a system that not only they want to develop for, but also the third party, so they can put their games on there.
And I've always said this right here: power has never been a problem for Nintendo to do.
No.
If you look at the scope of what Nintendo's done, it's never been an issue for them. There were some things that came up with the Wii, with what they wanted to do, what they felt where it needed to go. They did it. That was that, right? But that's obviously come to a close, in my opinion. I think it's done at this point, right?
It's done. Yeah. It's gone to Pokemon Go now.
What else can you do with motion controls or with stuff like that? There's not much more. I think it's been explored completely. Microsoft has done Kinect. Sony has done Move. There's VR if you want to go into that, but there really isn't anything left done with the controller in your hand and some type of motion. That type of aspect is done. But what hasn't been explored for Nintendo is HD with the best running things. What can we do with these new graphics? What can we do to make these games even better? And that's why I think that, just in my opinion, that you're going to get a nice system with fantastic specs. I don't know, but it's going to have fantastic specs. And I think the indication of this is Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. This is going to be the flagship title for the system. From what we know at this point, Mario's not ready, according to Miyamoto. It won't be ready for launch. So
Mario's missing?
Mario's missing at NX launch.
Great game. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. So Legend of Zelda, that's going to be like the flagship title. And Nintendo's NES franchises, all of their stuff, think about them, what you need to make those franchises amazing today. So like a Kid Icarus, right?
Yeah.
Or like a Metroid. What do you need? You don't need motion controls or some type of low powered system. You need something impressive to get people impressed in this. It was pretty obvious going from the GameCube to the Wii, people were not impressed with Metroid. You know what I'm saying? Like you look at like Metroid, like what people thought about that game, Metroid Prime 2, how it looked. And then Metroid Prime 3, while people liked it, it did not have the same, wow, look at this factor. You know what I'm saying? And it didn't, despite the Wii selling immensely popular, it didn't break what the GameCube sold with Metroid Prime,
What's interesting about Metroid Prime 2, I know we weren't planning to talk about this, but I actually thought parts of that game looked better than Metroid Prime 3 on the GameCube.
You're actually absolutely right about that. I wanted to make a video on that, actually.
Some of the graphical effects it's doing in that game on Metroid Prime 2 Echoes is amazing. The smoke effects, the textures, and the detail that they have is just incredible. They went all out.
The Dark World details. It's in the Dark World, the Shadow World or whatever.
Yeah, the game looked amazing. So I could definitely see that. They were innovating with controls on that game. I did love Metroid Prime 3 for sure.
I loved it too. I absolutely loved it myself as well.
But it became apparent that they need to move on from that. But when you think about Breath of the Wild, for example, I'm not just about graphics in that game, physics. You need to. There's a whole physics like meta game that you could play around in that open world with the fire. How you can light everything on fire and it all connects together and a part of a puzzle. Yeah, the magnet elements. You need processing power to enable that so the game doesn't crash. You know what I mean? Like obviously they're doing something with the Wii U to make some sacrifices to do that, but I can only imagine the NX version of that game having a lot more you could do with the physics aspect of it and being even bigger and having all that detail also there. So it makes perfect sense.
And to me, like I said, maybe I'm reading too much into this. This will be one of the last topics that we discussed for today. But maybe I'm reading too much into this. But, you know, the NES Classic Mini, I wanted to get your opinion on that as well. But the games that they picked on there, very symbolic games of the NES period, and games that Nintendo, I want to say they never really went away from that. But to me, that kind of shows like they're trying to push this, hey, we're going to have, like, is this the rebirth, like the NX rebirth of like the NES era to them? You know what I'm saying? In my opinion, that's what I feel that it's going to be. We're going to focus on these games where anyone could play them. Core gamers were having fun. Casuals were having fun. I remember everyone playing NES. It wasn't this whole casual core. It wasn't any of that. It was just like, yo, you play this game like Mario Bros. 3. Yeah, some people sucked at it. but my mom still played it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they still played it. It was still an adventure. It was still something that was fun for everyone to play, no matter how bad you were. My sisters played Legend of Zelda. They were trash. But did they play it? Yes. And I think personally, to me, that's what the Classic Mini is trying to push people towards, potentially having some type of way forward for Nintendo. What's your thoughts on that and what I just said, basically, as far as Nintendo's direction?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people like you and me that grew up on those systems. You know, I played the NES when I was 5 years old, and I thought it was incredible. I played the Atari before that, and I liked that too. But when I got the NES, I was like, this is it. You know, this is the next generation of what gaming is supposed to be. And Super Nintendo was like the epitome.
Mind blown.
Super Nintendo was the sweet spot for me. It was my all-time favorite system. Yes. And it was just absolutely incredible what they were doing. And if you notice, every single console they did up until the Wii, they Nintendo innovated with some of their graphical techniques that they couldn't do on the previous system. And you saw that with Super Nintendo big time. You saw that obviously with N64. You saw that with GameCube, with what they were doing with that system. A lot of innovations with that graphical style, and they went all through the Wii too. So I definitely think they want to get back in touch with their beginnings and say, hey, we're Nintendo. You remember this amazing little system you grew up with? You know, Mr. 30-year-old, 35-year-old gamer like me, yourself, and
29.
Yeah, you're not gonna feel too good for a couple days when you turn 30. I'm sorry. You'll get over it.
Yeah, I'll get over it. It's all good.
but yeah, they're gonna get in touch with those guys, with us, the guys who have been sticking it out with them, keeping the faith, you know what I'm saying? And you know, all the guys who are 15 to 20 years old who grew up on the Wii and DS, or you know, that kind of stuff, PlayStation 2, Xbox, you just don't get it. Like it's all coming back around again, I think is what it is. It's granted the NES Mini is not really that. It's more of like a collector's item because you can't really add games to it.
Definitely.
But it's definitely cool. It's definitely a cool collector's item.
Yeah, it is. It's a very cool collector's item. I think it's very well.
and the price is good and everything. And it's like, you know, they could do a really nice Christmas, you know, bundle, whatever deal on that thing and advertise it a lot. And then the NX, more than likely, you know, rumors are out there saying it's going to more likely be in September that they're going to reveal the system. I think they're making some good strategic business moves that are going to be snowballing one after another. And then you have the NX launch in March, and you got Pokemon Go right now. Like the Nintendo mind share is through the roof right now. The stock is up at a 5-year high, right? You know, since 5 years ago, it hasn't been this high. So I think that's what they're doing. It's a resurgence.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the indicator of this, at least the start to me, was when they just randomly said, okay, no more, we're not tagging our videos like with a little thing like Wii U, 3DS. They just said Nintendo. And then I saw it in the stores. Like when I saw it in the stores first more than anything. I went to the store and it used to be Wii U, Nintendo 3DS. I went to the store, Nintendo. You know, just Nintendo. I'm like, okay, whoa, what's this? I remember reporting on it back then. This was a couple of years ago, I think. About a year or so ago.
Yeah, last year I think they started taking them out of the store.
Christmas-ish.
Yep.
Last Christmas or so. So I was just like, okay.
Yeah, not only that, but you're seeing their characters there too. So you got Nintendo, and you associate Nintendo with their IPs, right?
Yeah.
So and of course, Pokemon they're 100% owned by Nintendo. So I think they have Pikachu on their logos too in those stores, along with Link. So
Pikachu,
it's
Link Mario. I think that's what it is. Pikachu, Link, Mario. So
yeah, it's incredible. Their IP is so strong that's why you're never gonna, or at least anytime soon, you're never gonna see a Nintendo IP on a PlayStation or Xbox console. Their IP is so strong that it sells their consoles. Now, their console needs to have what the other consoles have. That's why the Wii U didn't sell. It sold to the core Nintendo fan. But if you can have those amazing games with a system that can do whatever else, with everything else the other systems can do, plus a Nintendo innovation that we don't know about, this big secret that they're keeping, we have no idea what it is, then there's no reason why that system won't sell out.
Yeah, and that was the thing to me, because a lot of people say Nintendo, they can't do online and stuff like that. They're really bad, and which they aren't very good at online. But the funny thing is that with Wii U, in my opinion, Nintendo's best games have online functionality. Nintendo, their best. You look at Mario Kart. It's one of their best games. It's easily one of their best games. They tried their best with some of the features in there, tournament modes and stuff that you can do, but the system was clearly holding it back. You know, and Nintendo makes amazing online games, just per se. The concepts, Splatoon, fantastic concept for an online game. The online works for the most part, but just being held back by a couple things for the system. So in my opinion, I think the system was holding Nintendo back a bit from even experiencing their own personal, their 100%, because their online games are fantastic. Like Mario Kart is great. Splatoon is great. Xenoblade Chronicles X has good online multiplayer. Those dudes had to craft an achievement system, an invite system, on-screen notifications, without the help of the actual system. They had to make and program each individual thing
for each game.
Yeah, for each game. That's why you saw a lot of developers, Nintendo just didn't do it. Like Smash Bros. Probably just didn't have the time, or they just didn't feel like doing it. But people don't understand that's hard. Like to get that working every single time, those pop-ups on a notification for the system that doesn't support it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's not like Microsoft where you have API tools and stuff like that, just easy. Okay, we plug this in here. Okay, it works for everything, like achievements that pop up and things like that. They had to literally program each and everything with Xenoblade. So if Nintendo was able to actually make a system that supported their own developers' ambitions, which I think that they will, you're going to get a lot better sales easily,
Well, yeah, they did a business move that was the wrong choice. It's all we can say, because they were saying like we have to support the Wii audience with the Wii U, so we're going to make this half step. Mm-hmm. We're going to try to get the core gamer back, but we got to have make it the system simple enough that the people that like the Wii can still play. So it didn't work because the system, people already had moved on to the other systems by that time, and the Wii had died off really, really quick in 2011. So it was a bad business move, because the Wii U was still catering to the Wii audience that was already gone by the time it was released. Then you have the core fan sitting there with their gamepad and saying like, well, where's my online functionality that I should be having? It's not there. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. Okay. Here we go.
And the thing with me is like, so I don't sound like the most massive hypocrite and backtracking and stuff. Like, to me, I thought Nintendo would add that stuff in. I've been very adamant from the very beginning that Nintendo would eventually roll that stuff out. I didn't know they made a system that couldn't do it. And I think that the system either, one, it couldn't do it, or Nintendo did not want to invest into actually doing it. But something tells me that the system just wasn't programmed for that type of stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, it was capable of doing it physically with the processing power, but the amount of online investment that they would have had to put in there would have been millions and millions of dollars probably over that time, and I think they could see right away that it wasn't worth it.
Yeah, I made multiple videos saying like, okay, well, hey, are we gonna get an upgrade to Miiverse? Is it gonna be integrated? Oh, we're gonna be able to talk with our friends. Oh, we're gonna that's gonna come, right? That's gonna come, right? I thought that they were going to add it, but that never did happen. So that was my mistake on that one.
So yeah, well, one more thing I want to say about that is that in 2013, they had a wake-up call. As you saw, it was like January, February 2013. The Wii U was selling like 40,000 consoles each month, and it was just horrible.
It was a 3-month stretch. I think they sold 160,000 consoles in a 3-month stretch. I just wanted to say that real quick.
Yeah. And then so they had to do a lot. They had to actually step up their marketing and their game development for the Wii U for 2014 to get something out of the system. So they pushed the Wii U really hard in 2014. That's why you had Mario Kart 8, Smash Brothers. You had all this. You
Bayonetta.
had Zelda trailer, Bayonetta 2, Bayonetta 1, Hyrule Warriors in 2014.
Donkey Kong.
Tropical Freeze, and they had a Shovel Knight, I think.
Wii Fit.
Yeah, and they pushed the advertising a little better in 2014. That was the Wii U's best year. They had to get something from the system. They couldn't leave it at 3 million consoles sold and call it a day. They couldn't give up on it completely. So they had to do something. So I do respect Nintendo for still giving it a go, even though they knew 2013 was they knew this was going to be a really, really hard console to sell. So they pushed it really hard in 2014, and they spaced out their releases in 2015 pretty smartly. And then it was obvious this year it was done, over. Like right after the holiday season when they delayed Star Fox, and then you're like, okay, we have all these games coming out in March. We have like three high-profile games in Twilight Princess HD, a Pokken Tournament, Star Fox Zero in 3 months' time, and then Zilch. Then you got Tokyo Mirage Sessions and Paper Mario over 9 month span. I mean, ouch.
Yeah, and a mini NES to drive holiday sales. Not even anything on Wii U. Games that you could buy on Wii U, by the way. You know that you can get the virtual console. Like, don't do that. Buy this. You know.
So they made a business decision, and Kimishima said in his investors meeting a few months ago. What was it, in April? Yeah, in April. They said the good news is we can focus on 3DS for the rest of the year.
No more. I remember that. You know, I respect him because that's the truth, right? Mm-hmm. Is that not the truth of what's going on? You gotta give
the cold hard truth.
Yeah, you gotta give people the truth, and that sometimes Nintendo was known for sugarcoating things quite a bit. You know, like they would sugar, like especially throughout the Wii era, like the Wii era. It's like people would say, well, this is what's wrong, and they'd be like, oh, well, we have this new game coming out. Like, okay, we know that you guys have Mario Kart coming out, but like these are the issues with the system, and then it'd be like, we got Mario Kart coming. Like they would not answer to what people were saying. When people would say, "Oh, well, it's missing this," they would completely ignore it, or they would just say, "Well, we've got Smash coming out." You know, they would always just try to put a game in front of there instead of addressing the issues and saying, "Hey, this is the problem." So
which is why Reggie Fils-Aimé, he's PR. Like you guys got to understand that he is PR to the 9th degree. Like he's like, Reggie, the Wii U sucks. No, it doesn't. Oh, okay. That's basically what it comes down to with him, right? And Reggie, what's going on with it? The Wii U is not a failure, guys. It's not doing as well as we would have hoped, but it's not a failure. We have this coming out. Play the game, right? We have this, that, and it's just like, dude, okay, we understand what you're doing, okay?
Yeah.
And then, of course, he made the whole thing saying that Nintendo is not about specs, and he's right about that. But people read too much into what Reggie says.
Too much. Like, in my opinion, it comes down to this. Like, we don't know how powerful the system is going to be. Well, let's just say it's as powerful as a PS4 Neo. Let's just say it's that. I don't know, heck, we even say it's powerful as a Scorpio. I doubt Nintendo would even use all that power anyway for their games, for the most part, because it's going to be probably way too expensive for them to do that. So I doubt they're even going to do it. They didn't even really do that with how many games on the GameCube did that? I don't think it used all of the GameCube's power for a lot of the games. A lot of them look great, but I don't think it used everything. Even with the Wii U, I don't think even with the Wii U, they actually 100% fully utilize their games. Possibly like a couple games, like maybe like Smash Bros.
Xenoblade Chronicles X. I think they pushed it hard on that.
Xenoblade Chronicles X. Xenoblade Chronicles X. That game is. I don't think that game is built great for the Wii U. You know, the type of game that it is. But they busted it on that game. You know, there's only a few games that they really just said, okay, we're gonna go really hard on these graphics and stuff like that. Whereas the rest of the stuff is like stuff that's obviously they did not, like Captain Toad. It's like
Super Mario Maker.
Super Mario Maker.
That's a very successful game.
Yeah, very successful. Super Mario 3D World is nowhere near what the Wii U can do. Like, not even close. Like, and that's a main game for them. So, that's the thing. So
But yeah, Nintendo doesn't focus on specs. That is true. However, we're still in the Wii U generation right now. The NX hasn't even been shown. You guys got to understand that, the listeners. the the NX hasn't even been shown yet. So Reggie talking at E3 to interviewers, he's in Wii U mode. Honestly, he's still in Wii U mode. Like, we're not doing NX right now. Wii U. So he's saying Nintendo's not about specs. That's the same thing they've been saying for since the Wii and a little bit with the GameCube, even though they were sandbagging with the GameCube. The GameCube was was incredible technology, and they didn't play it up at all. So it goes to show that they're going to make a console that's going to be competitive because they have to. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, it does, because like it's either you do or you lose millions, potentially billions. You lose billions because you're not going to be getting royalties from third-party developers. I mean, it's they've been backed into a corner. They have in my opinion, they have no leverage. Like with the Wii, they had leverage, obviously. So
yeah, they had the Wii gave them the opportunity to experiment with an idea that one of their guys had. I don't remember who had the idea for the gamepad. Do you remember who it was?
I don't remember exactly who it was, but
I think it was Miyamoto and someone else had it would be cool to have a screen on our controller. Which is cool.
There was 3 people. I think it was Gino Takeda or Gino something. It was Miyamoto, and then there was one more guy that was really gamepad-ish, like dudes,
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying the idea is cool. It's just that it could have been executed way better. I like having a screen on my controller. Don't get me wrong, but the actual product was not acceptable. Honestly, they made it work, but it just wasn't what it could have been. And I really like the idea. It's just unfortunate what happened, basically. So Nintendo will. The reason why they have to is because their competition in the console market is in that space as far as having a powerful system. If they can't make a console that is focusing on Android type market, because guess what they just did with Pokemon Go? So they might as well leave the console business completely if they're making something that competes with this. Mm-hmm. What's the point? They already got Pokemon Go that's dominating the entire world. So their competition in the console market is for the core gamers out there. And they want to get, of course, the casual gamers to come and play their console too. So they got to have, that's why we don't know what the secret is of the NX, but they got to have that ability to quote unquote trick them over to come play their console. And I think Pokemon Go is something that could do that. If they have some kind of connection with smartphones, I think they could do that.
Yeah, and that's the thing that I made a video about, the whole connection with smartphones. That's what I think it is. But I also think it's the brainwashing needs to start, kind of quick, And to me, I think that the NES Mini is kind of that, because everybody remembers the NES. Casuals, you let them know, hey man, everybody remembers the NES,
Definitely.
So the brainwashing needs to start saying, hey, this is the Nintendo that you remembered. Remember, it's not all this stuff that was gimmicky. This is what you remembered. This is what we're going to be doing. You want to play like Mario Bros. I would not be surprised if the next Super Mario game was just called Super Mario. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Just Super Mario. That's it, or just Mario Bros. And it was just that was that. I would not be surprised if a lot of their titles were just that, like the next Kid Icarus, if there's Kid Icarus, stuff like that, because people remember that stuff, type of stuff. And like I said, the NES, the Mini, I think need to start doing that now and remembering people. This is not about Wii U, that type of stuff. This is no add-on. This is something like we used to do, but new for you guys out there, for the casual consumers, and for them too. You put some smartphone mobile integration. You can compare to your friends how many Goombas heads you jumped on.
Yeah.
Something like that, like some type of app connection, you can post it on Facebook or straight through your phone, have it connected. To me, that will get, that might get my sister, wanting to do that. Hey, I can see how many, people, whatever, from my smartphone app thing, Pokemon Go, some type of connection with the Pokemon game. Those are the type of things I think that could help Nintendo get to the point to where the NES was, because before, NES was easily their most successful before Wii.
Yeah, and people are buying the PlayStation 4 who don't really play games either. So it's like, and what games? The PlayStation 4 has some great games, but the point comes down to it is that they're not Nintendo. They're just not the same quality as Nintendo. What they have the ability to produce, in my opinion, Nintendo has the ability to produce games that are far better than anyone else. when they're at their top of the game.
When I see like the success that PlayStation 4 has had, and the consumers that are buying that, yes, it is casual consumers, but I do think it's more of the casual consumers who know about games. You know what I'm saying? Like that are like, you know, the NBAs, the things like that.
Yeah.
You know, I think the type of people that are playing Pokemon Go are not necessarily the 100% of people that are just going to rush out or go get a PlayStation 4 and the new Madden game. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
I think if Nintendo and the NES had that, I think personally to me, I think the NES had the type of Pokemon Go type consumer where they're buying it for their family, they're playing it with their family. I mean, I remember playing NES with my family. And
yeah.
They haven't. I mean, Super Nintendo was the last time. After Super Nintendo, people just, I mean, my family just kind of dropped off. My mom, they're like, we don't know about all this new stuff. You know what I'm saying? But like, if they can make that connection, because I really do think that the NES, Super Nintendo, those were the systems where Nintendo really had that. Back then, we didn't know it was casual consumers, but just that everyone mentality. But it was great for everyone. It had something for the core consumers, the casual consumers. Everyone was happy for the most part, you know?
Yeah, you know, I think Nintendo may try to make it easier for those type of gamers or type of people to be able to enjoy their system while not alienating the core gamer as well. So maybe have, I don't know what the secret is. We don't know what it is, but maybe they have some way of making it easier for those type of gamers or people to enjoy a Zelda Breath of the Wild experience that will be easier for them and still have the ability for the core gamer to enjoy it also with their control style that they like. I don't know. It's just, I think they might have the ability to do that. You never know.
Yeah, I think one of the big things maybe just to get into kind of a little bit more of a theory thing is like when you make your profile, just take what type of gamer you are, and that can automatically link to the games and put the game on the easy mode, you know?
Oh, yeah.
So you don't have to go into there and change it. Like, it's not on normal. If you're a casual consumer, just say play casual or you play normal, you know? And from then and there, it just goes right into the easy mode for you. You don't got to worry about it, and you can just enjoy the game. If you're more of a core gamer, then you pick your difficulty level. You have your hero modes and all that stuff like that. So maybe that's something that they could do along with smartphone apps to help educate people on those type of things, like free apps and stuff like that.
Yeah, because Nintendo said themselves the gameplay experience would be the same on the Wii U and NX version. So obviously there's going to be physical buttons, sticks or whatever, and shoulder buttons, whatever it is, it's gonna have controls that the core gamer is gonna enjoy. However, we don't know what that secret aspect is, so obviously they want as many people as possible to play this system. So they have something up their sleeve that is probably going to be pretty cool.
And I do think that Legend of Zelda, although there's a lot of stuff to it, I do think it's a very simple control-wise. It's very, very simple.
Yeah. No, yeah, it is simple, but underneath it all, it's very complex too at the same time. That's the beauty of Nintendo games. Like you can ride your shield as a surfboard. I mean, you surf with your shield, and you can even do tricks on there and everything. I found out. I mean, that's just. I mean, they got so many things underneath that you can do, but you can just walk around too and then do your sword.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's almost like you have to treat it like I think Nintendo's going to treat it like the Smash Bros. Mentality. Smash Bros. Is on the surface very easy, casual game, right? But then you watch Zero play, and you watch these dudes at Evo, and then you watch them, and you're like, wow, what are they doing? How did they do that? Okay, what do they do? And that's the layers of depth that Nintendo's always been known for, and I think that's what really honing in on that, because everyone can play Smash Bros. Everyone can play it, but there's a whole other level if you really want to play it competitively,
The problem with the Wii is that it only had that one type of way that they were really pushing hard for all the games to be this waggle motion control thing, and they were pushing it so hard that was the only thing that came to your mind when you played that system. So it really pushed away the core gamers from there, and it still had some great core experiences, with the IR sensor, and you can do first-person shooters, really really cool with that. But it didn't really make it a prime focus. So with the NX, I think they may understand that they need to make sure they make the core gamer the focus, but also be able to have that the casuals come in also and enjoy. So like you have your daughter or your little Johnny next to you and says, I want to play too. And and they say, okay, let's put on baby mode for you. And then here you go. And they're playing, Grand Theft Auto, in baby mode next to you, or whatever game it may be, So they got to have something like that. But also their marketing has to be there, of course. It all has to be there. And I think we're going to see something that's going to be pretty special.
Yeah, I definitely agree. But dude, I think we have exhausted all of our topics here. I thought it was really good. Is there any final thoughts that you wanted to go over as far as what you feel on Nintendo or anything else in general?
Oh yeah. The only last thing I wanted to mention was that you know, people assume way too much. Like they assume so much that it gets to the point. And I understand why they do that. It's because Nintendo's not talking, so all you're left is with assumptions. But please, guys out there, I just wait until Nintendo shows the NX before assuming it's not going to have any third-party support, any games, and obviously people who are making games for the system, they can't talk about it. So it's like, just hold your horses, and I'm sure we'll see what the NX has, and don't assume that there's nothing for it.
Yeah, definitely. The assuming is real. Like the assuming is real. People.
But I mean, the reason why is because people are like, "Oh, the third parties aren't announcing their games for it, so it must have nothing." Do you really think that they're going to announce anything?
Dude, there was no games announced at Nintendo NX. There are no third-party games coming to the Nintendo NX since there was no games announced at E3.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. And I mean, you have the Dragon Quest 11 slip up, right, from Square Enix, but
that's the only game. That's the only game that's going to be.
Yeah, and then you have these indie developers who want to promote their indie game by saying, yeah, we want to put it on the NX, but they don't really, they don't know for sure if they can get it on there. They just want to put it on there. It's like those indie developers who mention that stuff on Twitter or whatever. But yeah, if Nintendo is not showing the system, what makes you think the third party is going to say, yeah, we have the next Call of Duty come to the NX? There's no way. They're not going to say anything because they can't.
Yeah,
it's stupid.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, dude, I think that was a fantastic discussion. I thought there was a lot of great talk in there. I really, really, really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to talk to me, man. I really do appreciate it, man. You have been probably out of all the YouTubers that I've had come to my channel and talk with me. Not only have you been one of the coolest dudes, you've been one of the honest dudes on YouTube. You've been very nice to pretty much everyone. I don't know how you don't respond back to some of these people that are called. Man, see, that's my problem. I'm a football player. I don't have people talking to me like that in person. You know what I'm saying? And I have these freaking kids coming up and talking to me some way. I get mad. I sometimes my emotions get too much of me. You're very calm and very collected, and I really respect you for that.
It's all psychology with these guys.
I know, man. I gotta get better at myself. I'm horrible, but I just don't like people I don't talk to nobody else like that. I don't go to nobody else's channel like that, so I don't expect that to my channel. But you got to realize that you're not in the same position as these other people. So.
Yeah, that's the thing. For the fans out there, for your channel and my channel, I've been attacked by multiple people in the comment section, and it just doesn't work when you attack back. So basically, what I try to do to all you guys out there, I try to treat you with respect. And try to listen to you, and even I've talked to these guys offline too, and just like trying to reason with them. And then what it comes down to is that they don't know you. They don't know you, so they assume that you mean something that you don't mean, and you're like, you know what? You're misunderstood, basically. So you let them go. Well, what's funny is that when these guys attack, they're letting it all out. They're going crazy. You're a fanboy and Nintendo sucks and I can't believe you and you're arrogant. You're a know-it-all and you're this and I'm just like, yeah, okay, let it all out. Now you're like, oh, yeah. You're not gonna attack me back? And I'm like, no. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, you're cool. It's like that's what it comes down to, really.
Man, I was not raised like that, bro. I'm sorry. It's hard for me as us old guys. That is not how you grew up, bro. You did not grow up doing that to people. It doesn't matter if it was online or it was what. You did not grow up attacking people like that. But whatever. It's a different type of. I understand. It's a different type of age. Different type of people.
Well, whatever. I mean, because people really hate it. People really hate it sometimes when you are always positive about something. They're like, dude, what is wrong with you? How could you always be so pro Nintendo? You're just this and that. And it's like, because I'm confident. I'm 35 years old. I've seen it all and played it all with Nintendo. I know what they're about. They're not the Wii to Wii U generation. It's just that's not them at the core. Mm-hmm. So it's like it just comes down to put it into a bigger perspective. Where are these guys coming from that are attacking? They're attacking because they're coming from a smaller perspective. That when you start to talk to them and reason with them, I've had some success in reasoning with them, and what ends up happening is that those guys become your biggest supporters. So,
yeah. That's funny because that's actually happened a couple times to me. But like I said, sometimes like I said, sometimes I keep my cool, sometimes I don't. I need to learn how to keep my cool more. I'm like 50-50, bro. I've had many people do that to me. Like, they saw this video exposed, they come to me, talk smack. I'm like, yo, hold up, watch this video, bro. Like, I got some cool videos, like, where like I'm not always defending Nintendo. I'm not always doing this. Like, no, just like chill out, you know. And then they're on my channel all the time. So I mean, I gotta convert those 50-50s, bro. I gotta make it like 100. I gotta do a little conversion on mine, man.
Yeah. The only thing I don't appreciate is when people say lies. Like, they actually say that I said something I didn't say. Then I don't like that. So then I will make a video or say something that may sound a little more harsh and directed. But that's about as far as I go, you know.
Yeah, I gotta, like I said, I gotta have some of that Super Metal Dave, that calm juice, man. Because like I said, I was not raised like that at all. When I grew up, it was not like that. It was not like that. But I gotta realize that this is the new age, and like I said, I've had success with that. So I need to make sure that I do a better job of that.
I mean, I get blasted by guys all the time, and they're just like, you see, you're wrong, you're wrong, and it's like, okay, and what now? And then there's like, oh, just want to tell you you're wrong, you know. And like, well, there's nothing there. They want something in reaction, you know. And just
they always have a blank avatar, like 50, more than 50. It rolls with a blank avatar, dude.
Yeah.
They'll take the time to put all that stuff in there, but they won't take the time to put an avatar picture.
and they always do that kind of stuff when there's no when there's a new rumor that comes out, and they say, oh, see, you're wrong. But it's like, why don't you wait till the system's revealed until saying that I'm wrong about something? Yeah. It's just like, it's just have patience.
Yeah, patience.
It's all psychology, man.
Better patience. Thank you so much for joining me, Dave. I will make sure that I put a link to Super Metal Dave's channel in the comment section below. Make sure you check it out, guys. It's a fantastic channel. If you like this one, and I know a lot of you guys are already subscribed, but I'm getting new subscribers. Dave is getting new subscribers. If you like my channel, you're definitely going to love his content. He's one of the guys that I have on my network, you know, and he gets his videos on PlayerEssence.com as well. So I'm not sure if you've seen that, Dave, but yeah.
Thank you for that. I appreciate that.
No problem, man. Like, after what happened, I got to make sure that I get the best, in my opinion. And I feel that your content is really good, and it definitely deserves more promotion. I mean, obviously, people are posting your videos. Lots of it. I've seen it on other sites as well. So I do appreciate all the work that you do and taking the time to talk with me today. I really do appreciate that, man.
Hey, thank you so much, and we'll do it again sometime.
Definitely. So, guys, everyone who's watching, please subscribe to Dave's channel. Like I said, make sure you check out social networks. In the description below, you'll have links to my social network on Facebook. Check out our page. Give us a like. You'll get updates on my videos. I'm going to do more interactions and like giveaways and stuff like that, like digital codes, guys, digital codes for things. I have a bunch of 3DS games that are just sitting in my email, and I definitely want to give those away. So go ahead and give us a like. Give us a follow on Twitter as well. I will link my Twitter, and I will also link Super Metal Dave's Twitter in the description below. Please make sure you give us a follow if you want to be on top of that. Dave's Twitter is a lot more active than mine. I think Dave has some really good conversations with people, just asking questions and things. So you definitely, if you don't want to follow mine, because mine is just my videos. You know, I'm not a big talker on Twitter. But man, Dave's is awesome. So make sure you give Dave a follow, because I don't know why he does not have more followers than you. You should have more. So we're definitely going to try to get you more through my channels and stuff. So I'll have that link in the description below, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. All of our social networks, everything's down there. And you guys have a great rest of your day, and look forward, because I think Nintendo is going to be doing some amazing things. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you for the next podcast. Peace out, y'all.